It should be live.
No, it is, yeah.
Okay. About 25 seconds. Three, two, one, and we're live. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Lieutenant Joe A. Gonzalez, and I'm here with our co-host Natalie Williams. And today we have a very, very special guest today. We have our very own patrol lieutenant who oversees the patrol division, Lieutenant Eric Wood. So, Lieutenant, how are you doing today?
Just fun.
So, we want to know a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in law enforcement, and how did you end up down here in Corpus Christi?
Well, I'm from Corpus Christi originally, and I started working corrections and worked it for about a decade. And I ended up in Williamson County Sheriff's Office, which is in Georgetown, and really wanted to go to the police academy, put myself through the academy, and got through. And up there, when you go through the academy and you get awarded a position, you're still in the jail, but you're a dual certified deputy. And it wasn't really what I wanted, because I wanted to come to the streets, and I was from Corpus originally, so when I was down here visiting my parents, I saw that Nueces County was hiring, and this was in 2008, and the rest is history. I came here.
Awesome. So you've been here, what is it, 18 years already?
18 years.
18 years. Okay. So in 2008, so tell us a little bit about when you first applied here at the sheriff's office. Who was in charge at the time?
That was Sheriff Kalin, who was the sheriff at the time.
Okay.
And when they first hired me, he was required that you spend some time in the jail before you could go to patrol. And they told me it would be a few weeks. It ended up being a few months, but still wasn't very long. And I started in the jail, did that, and then came out to patrol under Captain Alanis then.
Okay. So Captain David Alanis, right?
David Alanis.
Okay. And so how long?
At the time, the jail wasn't new to you, right? Because you had done the jail elsewhere for a while.
Yes, I've worked in a few different prisons, and I worked in the jail up in Williamson County.
Right. So it wasn't new to you.
No, it was
you
not.
knew what you were doing. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about so you came from corrections and you kind of came to the streets. So it's kind of something new, I guess, in a way. What was one thing that you, when you first got here in 2000? And let's go back in time to 18 years ago. What was one of the first thing? Who's your FTO? Do you remember?
Well, my CTO in the jail was Mr. Cueva. I remember that.
Rudy Cueva.
Rudy Cueva.
Shout out to Rudy Cueva. You know what? For a little bit, he was my CTO too. I think I had him for about a week or so. So I remember Rudy.
And then when I came out to patrol, we had 3 FTOs. I had Nate Perez, who's
Okay.
now with Precinct 5. I had Robert Volkman, who's
Okay.
with, I think, Precinct 2. And Dana Richardson, who's now with the District Attorney's Office. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so all people that have been here for a good amount of time. So, who, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but who's your favorite? We obviously know it was Rudy Cueva in the jail, but what about out in patrol? Who was your favorite FTO?
I think I learned more from Nate Perez than the other ones, but I got into more with Robert Volkman, if that makes
That
sense.
doesn't surprise me one bit. With Robert, it was like something was always going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
If you just looked at the sky, something would fall.
Yes.
So I could
Hey, it keeps it interesting.
I can definitely it would definitely make your night go by a lot
That's
faster.
right. That's right.
So so how long were you a patrol deputy?
I was a patrol deputy initially for, I think, 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
And then a canine spot came
Yeah.
open, and I put in for the canine spot and got the dog, and I was with my canine partner for almost 8 years.
Okay. And that was who was Ergie?
Ergie.
Yes, I remember Ergie. So, who were the other canines at the time that you were canines? And let me ask you this, what sparked your interest to become a canine deputy?
There were several canine deputies when I first started. Merle Smith was one. He's now the chief of police for Calallen ISD.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really got interested in the work. And honestly, in the day, I almost made it a joke. I lost a foot pursuit on a guy who outran me in Robstown. And I'd have made a joke that I wish I had a dog so I could have tracked him down. And that joke got to Chief Galvan when the spot came open. He actually recommended I put in for it.
Nice. Well, let's talk about that now, because you could probably run the guy down now.
Yes.
This guy runs all the time. How long have you been running?
I started seriously running at the end of June, so a little less than a year ago. When I say seriously running, where I actually, instead of doing the 45 seconds running,
Right.
45 seconds walking,
Yeah.
I actually started putting together whole miles
And now you're training for a marathon, right?
for a marathon.
Yeah.
Beach to Bay.
Okay, that's awesome. And how much, so not to put you on the spot again, but you've cut quite a bit of weight to do that. How much weight have you lost?
A little over 100 pounds, about 106 pounds.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I just had to give you a shout out for that because that's pretty impressive. so
So-
you could probably chase him down.
Tell us a little bit about your last half. Actually, let me go back 2 half marathons ago. Let's talk to me about the Harbor Half, the inaugural Harbor Half over the New Harbor Bridge. Tell us a little bit about that run.
I did not think I was going to be able to finish it, and I started trying for that, and we practiced for that for about 4 months before we got to it. And when we started running it, I was so scared I wasn't going to make it, and I was actually doing really well, really comfortable. And the problem is I felt too good, and I really put on the gas for the first half. And while I did finish the entire thing without stopping, I ran it without stopping. My last couple miles was agonizing, to put it mildly. I was cramping up on my thighs, and my legs weren't working right, and it was not a glorious end. But
And I will say this, I kept up with the lieutenant here for a good while. Going down the bridge, I could keep an eye on him. But then once we made it to the second part, which is the running over the causeway where the Indian Point is at, man, it was like, man, he's going fast. And then the reality hit that you're gonna have to make it all the way back
over
the overpass, and then over that small bridge called the Harbor Bridge, right, which is a hard incline, and then definitely once you get to the top of the bridge, the last 3 or 4 miles was, as you heard from the lieutenant, it was brutal, huh?
Yes,
And
it was.
it was kind of brutal. But you know what? We finished. I finished. Captain finished. And so here we are, right? But now we're gonna look at Beach to Bay.
Beach to Bay.
Right.
So we're definitely gonna look into that. So let me ask you, LT, how many miles do you run a week?
Depending on my work schedule, between 30 and 35 miles a week.
Miles a week. Okay,
Yes.
that's up. So how many miles a day are you running?
On my short runs, I'm running about 4 miles. On my long runs, I'm running a little over 10.
A little over 10. Wow, that's a lot. That's almost like running a half a marathon almost, because
Right.
it's 13.1
Yes.
half a marathon. So that's just shy of a half marathon. So
But if you're running 26 in May, you gotta.
Yeah.
so let's get back to it. So now going back to that guy that out chase you. Now you could for sure gas that guy
I
out.
believe
And,
so, yes.
yeah,
Right.
and without even blinking probably. So you became a canine. So you said, Burl Smith, who's now the chief in Calallen, was a canine handler.
Yes, he was.
Who who was the other canine handler? It was
Scott
Metcalf.
Metcalf.
Yeah, Scott Metcalf, and
And
then we
Margaret
had Margaret Davis,
Davis
right?
was the bomb dog.
The bomb dog. So those were the 3 canines
when
that
I
they
started. Yes, and then when Scott left, Mikey Avila took his spot.
Okay, and then you took Burl's spot.
I took Burrow's spot. Yes.
Okay, and so tell us, what does it entail to be a canine? How long do you go to training for that?
You go to training, initial training for, I don't remember the exact number of hours it works out to, but it's about a month that you're there. And it's a lot of training, and I say initial training because with the canine, it never stops.
Right.
You come back, you're constantly training, and the dogs by nature are very, very smart. They select very smart dogs to be able to do the work they do. The bad thing is, just like a smart kid, they're very mischievous, and they will cut corners every which way they can. So a big part of your job as a handler is not only working with them to make sure they're keeping up on their scents and all that, but is to keep them from outsmarting you. And one of the easiest examples I use is my dog really figured out really quick that it was easier just to smell me when I was putting the aids out and hiding than actually look for the drugs. He would just track me to where the drugs are at. So I had to get other people to go lay the drugs so he wouldn't, he would actually have to search for the drugs.
I would have never even thought about that. That's crazy.
They don't understand the work ethic.
Right,
right. They want the
They
treat.
just know what they know what they
the-
have to do to get the treat.
Yes.
The easiest way to do it is how they're gonna find it. Yeah,
They're gonna cheat.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So let's move forward a little bit, right? So then, so now you were a canine handler for a little bit. So then, what happened next? What was your next? How many years more or less went by, and then what was your next spot here in patrol?
Well, when my dog started getting to where his health was declining and wasn't going to be able to continue the job anymore, we put in for his retirement. And the law was different back then. When he retired, the way the law was set up is he was listed as property, so the county could not give the dog to me. They were required to surrender the dog to the shelter. So it was a long, drawn-out process where I had to work with the shelter beforehand. So I already had all the adoption paperwork. So when the dog was released from ownership of the county, went to the Gulf Coast Society, and then came straight to me.
Gotcha.
And once I got all that done, because that was my big emphasis, to make sure that he ended up
You
home
guys-
with me. I put in for patrol sergeant, and I got it, and reported to night shift as a shift sergeant for a few years.
Okay, and so tell us a little bit about that. What are some of the good things about being a patrol sergeant, and what are some of the bad things about being a patrol sergeant? Because now you're kind of like, hey, I don't know what to do. Call the sergeant. He knows what to
Right.
do, right?
You'll
So
have the answer.
You'll have the answer. Surely you will have the answer. So tell us a little bit about the good and the bad about being a shift supervisor for patrol.
Well, there's definitely a learning curve, because like you said, as a deputy, you're kind of protected because if something bad happens, do what my sergeant told me.
That's right. I did what my supervisor told me
Yeah.
to do.
And then when you're the supervisor making the decisions, and my record will reflect there were a few bad decisions made, and I got a couple days off vacation for that, but that's all right.
Those are learning curves, right?
Right.
But nothing, that's egregious. It's just, just learning things that happen. So okay, so we learn from that. What about the good things? What are some of the good things that you feel like?
You're in a position to really encourage the positive traits in the deputies and getting everyone to do what needs to be done to become a good officer, and also to put you in a better position to get better equipment. That was one thing from years ago. Our equipment was very substandard. Our training wasn't all that great, and one thing I've realized is the higher up I get, the more influence I have on the equipment we get, the training we get, and it's been a big difference. I mean, from 10 years ago, where we are right now to where we then is night and day.
We don't have VHS tapes anymore in the cars. We're proud to say that, right? But we have new Axon equipment, right?
Yes.
Right.
New weapons. We're not.
Top of the line Axon equipment, top of the line recording equipment.
Our
big
cars.
difference. Our cars are much better shape. They track now. I know one of the worst nights I ever had working patrol is I got in a fight and I was not winning the fight at all, and my backup had a hard time finding me because the vehicles did not track back then. Yeah, and it was in a back street in Robstown, and I don't know if it's gotten any better, but it used to be once you got off the back streets in Robstown, half of them didn't have street signs. So I was in a pursuit, the vehicle wrecked out, and I got out of the vehicle after the pursuit, and I got in a physical altercation with the guy, and I wasn't even 100% sure where I was, so I just gave him my last remembered location, and my backup had a hard time finding me, and it took them 18 minutes before they got to me.
You gotta have a lot of energy in the gas tank and we tell that to all the cadets. Another thing is influencing the new people coming on, right? So that's another thing. So.
I have a question about, because I know you did a lot. You went up the ranks in the jail as well, not here, but previously. So what's the main differences from being a sergeant in the jail and being a sergeant in patrol? What are I know you're leading people in each of those, but what are the main things that stand out to you as differences?
Well, in every supervisory position in the jail, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, everything, there's only so many variables for what kind of day you're going to have. There can still be 100 things that can go good or bad in the jail. but it's generally that same 100 things. And that's where I actually got interested in coming to patrol, because I did a write-out with a deputy that worked for Williamson County, and just that first night there was 150 things that happened. I mean, it was just it was wide open. I mean, there is no rule book. Don't get me wrong, in the jail, the rule book is still very, very loose and very, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But there is a certain parameter. You know, it's pretty much going to be within the walls. You know, there's 48 inmates in this pod. There's things that are somewhat contained. When you come out of patrol, coming to patrol, it's a whole. You have no idea what you're walking into, good and bad.
Right.
For every call, and to me, it was much more stimulating.
Gotcha. I like that.
So, just a reminder, guys, somebody just asked a question on Facebook. So, if you have a question, type it up there, and we're streaming live. This is just a regular conversation. Somebody asked, "Hey, I'm 53 years old. Can I come join the sheriff's office?" Absolutely, we want you.
You can. Come on.
If you can do it, if you can physically and mentally do the job, we want you. Come on, apply. You can call us 361-887-2235 and ask to speak with one of our recruiters. And we will definitely get you going. You can apply for the jail. If you have your peace officer's license, come apply, and you can come work for Lieutenant Wood. So, Lieutenant, tell us a little bit about. So now you became a sergeant, and then now you're a lieutenant. Tell us a little, how long were you the sergeant for, and then.
I was a sergeant for a few years, and the spot became vacant. And we had a new captain, the previous lieutenant, promoted up.
Right.
And I put in for it, and I've been a lieutenant now I'm going on my second year.
Okay.
And it's different. I don't get to spend near as much time on the streets as I did as a sergeant, which gets a little tedious sometimes. I really want to jump in the car sometimes and just get away from here, but
It's easier.
it's easier. Oh, it is much easier, much less responsibility. But
Right.
there's a lot of things that can get done at this level that affects everybody in the division in a positive manner, and that's what I'm always working for, is to make sure everybody is going in the right direction, make sure they have the right equipment, the right training, and trying to recruit the right kind of people.
Right. And like you had mentioned earlier, like training. So like now at the lieutenant level, right, at the you're at mid management, almost senior management, within the sheriff's office, really. Now you get a lot of input on training. I work with you hand in hand. Hey, let's put on this training. Let's put on red dot training. Let's put on ballistic shield training. Let's put on rifle training. Things that we really didn't get to do back then, right? But now you're the force or the multiplier of change to be able to change that and to better train our deputies and then also recruitment. All right, if we go talk to the cadets at Delmar, we can go talk to them, show them what we're about, and the type of equipment that we have. So that's a great thing that we're doing.
Most
So-
definitely.
Tell us a little bit about patrol. Are you guys fully staffed?
Yes, we are. We are fully staffed. I think we have a few spots in our warrants divisions open, but for patrol, we're 100% staffed right now, and we're very busy. The community is growing. The same folks that built up the London area into such a huge subdivision are now working on a whole new subdivision out in New Oasis County, but a little bit east of Orange Grove area. And I don't see the population of the county doing anything but continue to explode up. So we are going to be trying to increase the size again, and we need to keep trying to increase it. People don't realize how big the county is, and
It's a lot of miles to cover.
It's a lot of. I believe it's 960 land miles. And if you are up close to Sandia, and if some of your partner gets in an incident down in Chapman Ranch, I mean, running code, you're talking 45 minutes away.
Right.
So when you start doing the math on that, you realize that having 5 people on duty is really not that many, because your backup is
45 minutes
Right.
away.
Yeah.
And this is not driving 30 miles an hour.
No,
This is
it's
going lights and sirens.
lights
Right.
and sirens,
As safe as possible,
safe
but
as
going
possible.
as in a hurry with a purpose. So definitely, the population of the county is definitely growing and is growing. So, the patrol division may need like a little bit of expansion here pretty soon. Right?
that is my hope.
That's your hope. That's
And
your.
that's where all that paperwork and
Yes.
documentation and all that you have to do comes into play when you have to take that to commissioner's court. Like, these are our numbers. This is why we need more people. So.
Yes, definitely.
So what else what else can you tell us about your experience here in your short 18 years, right, here at the sheriff's office? What else can you tell us about your experience here?
Well, and I mean, it's changed over the years, and there's been a new emphasis the last 4 or 5 years that's fantastic, because now if something makes sense, and that's kind of how Chief Cook looks at it. If something makes sense, training wise, equipment wise, show him to make sense. He does his best to get the money for it to make it happen. There was a time in the past where training was almost non-existent. They did the absolute minimum standard through the state just to meet it. And now we're sending our people literally everywhere they got to go. We're sending people to specialist schools for mental health, for leadership. We're sending people to medic schools. Quite literally, our deputies are the first responders, and quite often are by themselves up there for 20, 30 minutes sometimes. And we to be a good deputy, you have to be an expert in a little bit of everything.
Right.
And we do have some of our deputies who are also, at one point firefighters. So if need be, they could help an ESD fight a fire. I think we just had that recently happen, right, with one of our deputies. I think Deputy Benavides kind of got on the hose and tried putting a fire out or
I
something.
think
like
it
that.
was Corporal Varial.
Or okay,
Corporal Varial.
yeah. So one of those guys out there.
Multi-talented.
Yeah, multi-talented. You know what? You gotta work. You go from one end of dealing with somebody who is maybe having a mental issue to giving a traffic ticket to putting out a fire.
Yes.
Just in one day's work, right?
Yeah, they have to do a lot. And we get in an accident in a bad area of the county in the middle of the night. We also have to bring Halo flight down to get them to the hospital as quick as possible. We all our deputies carry Narcan with them. We've several times where we've had to administer that to people that have overdosed and they've stopped everything, and we've had to do CPR and Narcan on them to try to get them back into it. You never know what you're going to get into. Like I said, that was a great thing I like about patrol is it's wide open. There is no limited number of options for the day.
So let me ask you, LT, you've been here for a long time. Recently the sheriff got behind sending some corrections officers to the academy. What do you think about that? Can you tell us a
That's
little bit?
fantastic. When I went through the academy, because I was actually working at a prison when I first got the idea in my head, and they flat forbade it. They would not let me go. So I quit and gone to Williamson County Sheriff's Office, and I wanted to go to the academy there. And at the time, I didn't have enough seniority in to go sponsored, so I had to go on my own time, and it's very hard. I was literally sleeping in my car in the parking garage of the sheriff's office up there on 2 or 3 nights a week. And I went through the part-time academy, so it was 10 months and a week long, and it was a miserable year. And I'm glad I did it, glad I got through it. But I think by us sending our own people, we're not putting as much stress on them to get through it. They're not putting their family through all that financial hardship like I had to go through the academy. And hopefully it's putting a good sense of loyalty into them, because the agency is doing a lot to put them through this academy.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
I'm hopeful that when they get out and we get some more options or some positions open in patrol, we can get them to come to patrol, because I helped interview all 4 of them, and all 4 of them are fantastic officers, and I would like to see them all on patrol at some point.
And that's great. And so I was just about to ask you, so you were actually part of the process to get those guys to see, hey, are you going to cut it or not?
Yeah.
And so we just opened up the process again for all of our corrections
4
officers.
more.
And so we're fixing to send 4 more to the next academy starting on, I believe it's July 8th. Don't quote me on that, but I think Delmar opened it up. So, if you're looking to start your career, Delmar Academy, Police Academy is definitely open for business, and you have to start the process. So very soon we will be interviewing, hopefully another set of people, and, cut it down to 4 and send another 4 people to the academy. So, that's another thing that we got going on here that's going to benefit the patrol division.
Yeah, and you had mentioned a while back about putting, your family or your loved ones through that. So let's kind of dip into the personal. I won't make you talk about them too much, but I know you've been with your wife since y'all were way back, since high school. So do you want to talk about your family, your high school graduates, all that stuff?
Yeah, me and my wife graduated Ray High School. We met in school. We've been together for 31 years now, and I have 4 children. One who actually worked for the sheriff's office.
That's right.
Yeah, one worked for the city of Corpus, and I've got one in college and one in grade school. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Didn't you have them run with you?
my youngest, My youngest does. He's not very happy about it. But,
Gotcha.
I'm working on
It's
it.
good for yeah.
It's good.
It'll get to a point they'll like it. Yeah.
It's a good start. It's
That's
a good
right.
start.
That's right. So, what, as far as your career with the sheriff's office, what are your aspirations? How do you see the future?
I really love my job, and I honestly would not mind retiring right where I'm at. That being said, if the captain spot became available at some point, I would probably put in for it just to make sure we keep going in the same direction. Right now, the captain's fantastic, and he's got us going in the right direction, but we have not always been that lucky, so I would, if nothing else, but just to make sure we stay going in that
Stay
right
on
direction, I might be willing to go up to captain.
I like that. I like that mindset.
But if not, I'm perfectly happy being a lieutenant. I enjoy my job, I enjoy what we do.
Nice. Very cool.
Well-
Well, was there anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about, Lieutenant?
I encourage people to come apply for the sheriff's office. We're really going places where we nothing but improvement over the last 5 years. Every year I could look back for the last 5 years and say this has been much better than it was last year, and I don't see any signs of that slowing down. Our pay has gone up. Our equipment, we literally have the best top of the line equipment in the entire region. We have better equipment than the bigger departments in our area. The leadership, the training, we provide much better training here than we do at that city agency we don't mention the name of. We've got some ex-deputies that went to that agency that have even told us, man, I wish I got the training that you're sending your people to. We really believe in training. We really believe in empowering our deputies, and that goes through experience and training and supporting them, and we do our best to do everything we can, and we're always asking them, what can make you better? What can make you better? Some of the ideas we get back are a little ridiculous. Some of them are good, and we go with
Right,
those ideas.
right. You don't know unless you ask. So,
Don't know
and y'all
unless
give
you
them the
ask, yeah.
opportunity to ask, which is awesome. Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
So in closing, I'm just gonna put it out there again. Like you heard, Lieutenant, we're in a good position. Our patrol division is actually fully staffed. We actually have we're over because we have a few warrant deputies that are training right now on patrol. But don't let that discourage you from applying anyway. Because we never know when an opening will come up. We do have a few openings in the jail. Our jail is actually almost fully staffed also. So we do have a few openings in the jail. It's a good place to start, and then we do have a pathway to get to patrol now. So like I mentioned before, if you're interested, give us a call, 361-887-2235. Also go to nuecesco.com, go to the sheriff's tab, and there's a little tab there on the sheriff's website where you can just put your first name, your last name, your telephone number, and either myself or one of our recruiters will reach out to you. And believe it or not, I get on the phone too. This morning I did about 10, 15 calls, and we have more people that are interested in coming in. So we always, we're very hands-on. Submit your information, and we'll give you a call, and you can come be like Lieutenant Eric Woods. 18 years with the Sheriff's Office. Started in patrol, or actually started in the jail, patrol, sergeant, lieutenant, and he's still here and hopes to retire from this agency.
Oh, yes.
So,
And as far as starting in the jail, I know it kind of intimidates people because they don't like the idea of working in the jail. I'll be honest, working in the jail, working with people who are going through the roughest part of their lives, it will teach you so much in human interaction, and that'll benefit you greatly once you do come to patrol. And the best deputies we have in patrol came from the jail because they learned how to do the human interaction. They really, like I said, they learned how to talk to these people who are going through the worst parts of their life while they're locked up. And if you can talk to people when they're in that position, when you get out to the streets, it's easy. It's much easier. It's a great tool builder. And I encourage everyone to start in the jail. I think it'll make you a much better peace officer in the end.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. And as always, thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back at some time next month. It'll be another surprise. We don't know who our next guest will be, but when we do, we'll let you know.
all right, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month. Have a great day. Bye.